Rock stars, songwriters, the sidemen and women, music producers, and more join Dayna Steele each week to talk about the rock business. Slide into the booth and join the conversation. This is Dayna's Diner on Houston Radio Platinum.
Joining me today on Dayna's Diner, a longtime friend. I always hate it when somebody says an old friend. A longtime friend, Carmine Appice. Carmine, how are you, babe?
I mean, you were there when I got fired from Ozzy.
I figured we would work up to that story, but you know what? You tell the story. Go ahead.
Oh, God, it's the opening story of my book, you know.
Oh, and, no, is it?
Yeah. It's, just Sharon just didn't like me being on the tour and doing my own thing, which is master classes every day, which, you know, I was known for education. And so I kept doing these master classes every day, and she didn't like it. And
she wanted you to be just the drummer. She didn't like the fact that you were getting almost as much attention.
But you know, she signed the contract that said I can do all this stuff and have my own publicist and do all that stuff. And I did, and she didn't like it. So at the end, in Houston, when we had a great show, I went in her office, in the production office. I said, "Hey, Sharon, what's up?" She goes, "Stand there." Like, she was fat at the time. She was wearing like a
Be nice.
No, I'm just saying she was heavy. Okay, she was heavy at the time. And she's sitting there going, "I think you know," shaking her head like that. And I go, "No, I don't know." She goes, "Well, you saw Tommy Aldridge hanging around." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, he's going to start the tour on Monday." You know, "What do you mean?" I said, "I got a contract." She said, "I'll see you in court." And so she canned me right then and there. I mean, the story's a lot more than that.
I was going to say,
you can read it in my book.
Right, but let's back up to the beginning of that story. A few days prior to getting into town, Carmine calls me and says, "You know, I need a car. I need to go to the drugstore. I need to go to the grocery store. I need to pay." You know, when you're on the road, it's hard to get those things. And I'm like, sure. I was doing nights at the time at KLOL. And I'm like, you know what? I'll come get you after sound check. You take me back to the radio station or whatever. You had the car. You know, drop me off at the radio station. I'll be fine. You had my car. Yeah. And I get off the air at 10, and I'm expecting you to show up anytime. And I'm waiting, and there's no Carmine. There's no cell phones, you know. So I finally call the production office, and I say, you know, "Is Carmine? I need to talk to Carmine Appice." And they say he doesn't work here, and I'm like, "Well, I know he doesn't work there. He's with Ozzy." And they're like, "No, Sharon fired him." I'm like, "What?
What?" And then they even asked my roadie to stay on, Andre, and he said, "No way, I'm not going to do that. You know, you can, my boss, you want me to stay on? I definitely am not going to do that." And
so I had some drums and
remember, they were supposed to ship my drums back, and they wouldn't do that. So Andre had to drive it back. Cost me $750 to get the drums back with Andre. And then I ended up in a lawsuit with them.
And I ended up with Carmine Appice in my apartment for a few days until we could get you on a plane and back to California. Well, let's go back. Dayna's Diner is, you know, the people that are responsible for the classic hits. It could be the sidemen, it could be the stars, it could be the writers, it could be even the people who produce the concerts. Let's go back. What was your first band?
First band was the first hit band was Vanilla Fudge.
No, before that, what was your first? How old were you when you got your first band?
It was the 3 beats. I got a picture of it in my book. Hold on, I got to show you. This is funny. Hold on.
Okay. La la la. So we'll just you know, sit here and chill in the diner while he gets the book. All right, you're gonna have to send me a copy of the picture. All right, Carmine Appice, stick it. Oh, I love it. Stick it.
Then you open it up to the first band page, and here's the 3 beats.
Yeah. Oh, I love the suits. Loving the suits.
Isn't that something? Look at that.
That's fantastic. Oh, those are funny. I'll make sure I get these. Since it's a radio, I'll make sure these things get post it online so
Yeah,
people can
I
see it.
have the actual pictures I can send you.
That'd be great. And then I can also put a link to the book. So let's
Yeah.
fast forward now to Vanilla Fudge. How did that happen?
Well, I was playing with that band and different versions of that band all around the New York area, and these two guys come in one day, and I said, "Hey, look, we heard you had a great right foot playing, and you sing." I said, "Yeah." So we have this group called the Pigeons, and we have a manager in Long Island, and he's going to give us a salary so we can spend the time to make, music that we can actually record and get a hit record like the Rascals. I said, all right. Up until that point, I wasn't really thinking about recording or anything like that, and I thought that was interesting. So I called it my life-changing decision, because I could have stayed with the bands I was with, and I was making in those days $300-400 a week, which was good.
Wow, that was a lot of money then. Yeah.
Yeah, back in 1964, 5. And these guys were offering me a salary, whether we worked or not, of, I don't know, $100-150 a week, just to get the band going and play gigs and do, if we played gigs, we'd make more money. If we didn't, we get $150. So I said, no, I don't know about that. Let me go check them out. So I went and checked them out. And when I did, I heard Mark Stein sing. I said, man, what a voice on this guy. Great B3 player. Tim Bogert, great voice, great bass player. And Vinnie Martell, same thing, great player and great voice. I said, maybe I should do this, So I did it. My life.
So how do you go
decision.
but how do you go from the Pigeons, which is a really sucky name for a band, to Vanilla Fudge?
It sucked. Well, we were doing what they did in Long Island. Billy Joel was doing it with the Hassles, and Leslie West was doing it with the Vagrants, and it was about production numbers, we call them, where we slowed things down, and we took the lyrics and put the music to the lyrics. Like in our case, we did "Hey, You Keep Me Hanging On." It was very emotional when you're in that situation. So we slowed it down, and we made it more emotional. People Get Ready, we made it like a gospel-y thing. Eleanor Rigby was a very eerie kind of lyric, so we made all the music very eerie. And when we were doing that, we were playing in clubs as the Pigeons, and people used to stop, and they didn't dance to our music because it was very progressive, and 6/8 timing and all these weird timings and stuff. And they would come up and watch us rather than dance. And the band was very animated. And we did a demo of "You Keep Me Hanging On" in one take mono. And Atlantic heard it and signed us. But they said, you got to change the name. That name sucks. So we said, okay. So we were screwing around with names, and we knew this woman, that a girl at the time, 17, 18, 19, whatever she was. And she said, you guys are like White Soul, Vanilla Fudge. I said, oh, that sounds pretty cool. So we went down to the manager at Atlantic, and they liked it. And that's it. That's how it happened.
You've played with so many people. You do some of the rock and roll fantasy camps now, because you've been doing that with my friend Spike.
Yeah.
Who are some of your? I mean, you are the quintessential drummer. You are Carmine Appice. Who are some of your favorite musicians?
You mean back then that I listened to?
Or just
now.
now, or then? Who are some of your? If you go back and look over the span of your career, who are some of the musicians that you say, "Wow, that player and that singer and that"?
Well, like Jeff Beck, Rod Stewart, guys I ended up playing with. Mahavishnu Orchestra, unbelievable band. The Beatles, when they first came out, the Beatles, we used to goof on them. We used to say dirty lyrics to their songs, wear Beatle wigs, because that's when they were just like teeny bopper stuff. But then when Vanilla Fudge was doing our album, Revolver came out, and that was like it. So from then on, I was a big Beatle fan. But so many musicians, and now some of the musicians today, the drummers today are like machines. They're unbelievable. But they've taken what we laid the foundation of and just taken it to the extremes. It's just, I see drummers on Instagram and everything. That's just unbelievable. Nobody knows who they are. They're just amazing players. But
I love some of the little kids. You'll see like a 2 or 3-year-old, and it's like, oh
it's
my
unbelievable.
God,
The guys
where'd
like
this kid come from?
Like Billy Sheehan, amazing bass player. You listen to Tim Bogert, and it goes down the line. Tim Bogert listened to James Jamerson. And it goes down the line. There's guys that listen to Billy Sheehan that are better than Billy Sheehan, And
anybody new out there that you would actually, if Carmine Appice actually had to pay for a concert ticket, who would you pay to go see? Anybody out there now?
I liked what was the name of that band? Oh, come on, Papa Roach. I went to see them I have neighbors up the street here that the kids are guitar and drummer, and I helped the drummer kid out, and they were going to see Papa Roach and Shinedown. They had an extra ticket. They said, "You want to go?" I said, "Sure." So I went. They were all raving about Shinedown. But for me, I thought Papa Roach was awesome. So I actually downloaded some of their songs on iTunes. And my phone's ringing. Hold on.
You are always so much fun to do a radio interview with. You get up, you leave, you go get a book, you answer your phone. I love you. I've known you way too long.
It's very relaxed. I usually wear the sunglasses to keep the image, right? That's my new photo. Looks like that.
You're so cool. You're so cool. Yeah, but can you see anything, actually?
I can see, actually, but I can see better without these. I just got some new glasses because I really don't need the glasses to see far. I just need them for reading. But I hate well, hold on, let me read this. Let me get my glasses out. Where are they? So I just wear these that can see far. They're clear. Nothing up there. And then I just have the reading. I just look down and it's cool. But
it's happened to the best. I remember the very first time. It was David Crosby. We were at dinner and they brought us the bill, and he was like, "Hey, Steele, give me your reading glasses." And I was like, how dare you? How dare you assume I have them? And here they are.
Yeah, right. I mean, I used to carry. I went to the dollar store and used to get like 10 sets of reading glasses, put them all over. So you always have them.
Oh my God,
we always have a pocket.
We're cool. Yeah, we're still cool, but we've turned into old people. What are you working on now? What are you doing these days?
Well, I have just finished an album by doing over 14 Cactus tracks. It's called Temple of Blues Influences and Friends. And I got all these influences that Cactus influenced and friends. We have Joe Bonamassa, Ted Nugent, Warren Haynes, Doug Pinnick, and Ty Tabor.
Oh, Doug! There's a Houston name, Doug Pinnick.
King's
all
X.
right.
And I can't even remember everybody. And we did the album cover that's similar to the what's it called, the Sgt. Pepper, right? But everybody on the album, I mean, there's 25 people on the album.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. Is that something you can share with me?
Well, no, not yet, but I can tell you.
Not yet. Okay. Well, you only can see it on this.
I can tell you who's on it by looking at this. So Joe Bonamassa, Jim McCarty, Doug Aldrich, Ted Nugent, Steve Stevens, Bob Daisley, Bumblefoot, Doug Pinnick, Dee Schneider, Tony Franklin, Phil Sassoon, Mark Stein, Kenny Aronson. It just goes on and on. And
it goes on. That's fantastic.
We redid all those songs with those guys, and it sounds great. And
when is that coming out?
It's going to be out probably April. We're working on doing the first video is going to be Evil, the song Evil, which is one of the most famous Cactus songs. And Doug Aldrich, Doug Pinnick is playing bass, Jim McCarty on guitar, me on drums, and Dee Schneider singing it. So it's a crazy combination.
Love Dee.
So we're working on that, and I'm doing a Rod show. It's a Rod Ultimate Tribute. It's a hybrid show because I tell stories with a guy that looks like Rod and this chick Katja that played 14 years sax with Rod. And we're doing like 6 shows in Florida. And then in July, when they're organizing more shows, because it was always, I went to a Rod show and I said, out of the 12 songs he did, 8 or 9 of them I was involved in. I'm watching the audience love it. I said, I never get to play those songs anymore. So we put this show together. I found this guy that's been doing it for 20 years, and he's great. So I went up to Orlando to see a gig. He had 1,000 people there. And I went up and played with him, and the audience loved it. So we said, why don't we join forces? So that's what we did. And now, so I'm doing that. I'm doing Vanilla Fudge. I'm doing Cactus. And I'm having a good time. I live in Florida. I don't have to go out on these 2-month tours anymore. I go out for a weekend or 2 weekends, like everybody does, except unless you're like Rod Stewart, that travels in his own plane, carries his own doctors and masseuse and everybody with you. Guys like me, like Foghat and people like that, we work weekends, which is nice.
What do you do? I know this, you and I do what we do for work for fun. We love what we do.
I love it.
But what else do you do? Let's say you're in Florida. Have you picked up golf or pickleball or any of that? Oh, I know a lot of people are going to be listening to this on a podcast, but the face, yeah, you play the drums.
What I do. Play drums. I practiced to the books over there. I got my friend Joe Franco coming over at 1:30. We're going to sit down and do some drum pad stuff. He's really into golf. A good friend of mine out here is Nico McBrain. They golf all the time. I don't golf.
No golf.
I just do. I don't even know what I do as a hobby. This is my hobby. People go, "What do you do as a hobby?"
It's what you've loved.
That's it.
How old were you when you got your first drum set?
Let me see.
You got to look it up in the book.
It's in the book. The picture's in the book. That's me taking my first drum lesson, about 12 years old. You see right there?
About 12. Okay. All right.
That's me.
And then the age-old question, the age-old question that everybody asks, but every time I mention that you and I have been friends all these years, they always ask me the same thing, and I really don't know the answer. And it is, why are you Carmine Appice, and why is Vinny Appice? I know you're tired of it, but
Well, we did a Drum Wars video and a Drum Wars tour to say whoever wins the battle wins the name. But then my older brother said, they're both wrong. It's Appice.
Appice.
But what happened was I was Carmine Appice, just like my brother. But everywhere I went, people said Appice, 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 or Appice, or Appice, all these different names. So when I joined Rod said, look, we're going to be playing in front of 20,000 people a night. What is your name? I've heard 5 different pronunciations. I said, well, most people call me Appice, and I correct them to Appice. He said, well, why don't we go with Appice? And that way, when we do your solo, and I'll say to 20,000 people, Carmine Appice on drums. I said, okay. So I went with Appice. At the time, I told Ludwig Drum Company, which I have the ad over there, and they did an ad that says, everyone wants a piece of Appice, which ran in every major rock magazine in the world. So then I became Appice. 4 years later, my brother joined Black Sabbath, Vinny Appice. So right there, he confused everybody, and the confusion is still going on. But we did brothers an album together. It's just called Appice. So people go, well, what's the name of the album? I go, Appice. Yeah,
I love it.
However you want.
All right, before I let you go, favorite song.
Favorite song ever?
If you had to pick one, can you pick one? Can you pick one?
No,
Eva, Carmine Appice.
I cannot pick one.
Okay, pick a few.
I'll pick a few. In a Mounting Flame by Mahavishnu. I Am a Walrus by the Beatles. Great one. Let me see what else. I think Like somebody like For the Love of Money by the OJs.
Yeah, it's hard to pick just one, isn't it? Because it's what we do.
There's millions of
it's what we
songs.
love.
It's like, I mean, I love a lot of different songs for different reasons. You know, I'm not one that listens to like, oh, the lyrics mean a lot to me. To me, it's all about the music. The lyrics are secondary to me. You know.
All right, before I let you go, the album's coming out hopefully in April, and the title of that again?
April is called, what is it called? I forgot now. Temple of Blues, Influences and Friends. And it's on Cleopatra Records, Cactus, and it's awesome. It's a great record.
And then the book is out, right? The book is available.
Out. It's called Stick It. Just Stick It, My Life of Sex, Drums, and Rock and Roll. And
all right, we'll make sure we put a link to that. Well, I would expect nothing less from you, Carmine Appice. I love you dearly. It's good to see you. Appice, you look fantastic.
I'll see you. And where are you? Are you in Houston still?
I am in Palm Springs getting ready to do my play that I wrote, that I star in.
Here's something for you. We got a gig coming up with the Rod Spirit now. Well, I used to call it Rod Experience with a different band and a different singer, but now it's called Tonight's the Night, featuring me and this guy, Rob. And we're going to do a gig in Palm Springs with the Palm Springs Symphony Orchestra.
Fantastic.
Playing Rod songs.
Well, I will definitely look for that. And I'll also find a link to some of your dates. All right. We look great.
Okay. Cheers. Bye.
You've been listening to Dayna's Diner, a weekly conversation with the men and women who created your favorite classic hits. Dayna's Diner is produced by Dayna Steele and Houston Radio Platinum.